So there's a few things in Mississippi that you really wouldn't expect to see. One being a 65-foot waterfall, and two being an 1850s grist mill. Today I'm here at Dunn's Falls in Enterprise, Mississippi. I'm going to do a little solo camping right here on this river. It's going to be a good time. So this is the Boy Scout campground. The lady at the office said I'm more than welcome to come back here. She says it's very primitive, very dark. Chances are there's going to be nobody else out here but me. Y'all take a look at this. This is probably one of the best campgrounds or campsites I've had in a very, very long time. I have so many options and places to put my tent at. I really don't know where I'm going to put it at. And right here is the Chunky River. Might do a little exploring of that here later on. But right now, I'm really, really liking this setup. Well, I got camp set up. Finally picked me a spot kind of close to the water a little bit. Flat, no rocks. Same old gears I had last time. I got the Walmart zipper cot, the Teton camp pillow, my Get Out Gear puffy blanket. And here's a tip for you. Flip-flops. When nature calls at night, sometimes you can't get your shoes on fast enough, but you can get some flip-flops on pretty quick. So I got a pair of flip-flops, usually around camp by the bed. Little kitchen set up. This picnic table is a little better than the last one we had. And I got the stove cleaned up. I'm sure that'll make some of y'all happy. Had some people on Facebook give me a hard time about it. And some were, legitimately saying, hey, you might want to clean that up. Might start a grease fire. I appreciate the comments and concerns. But the trolls, those type of people probably haven't been camping in the last decade. But they want to sit there and tell you about how to do it. I don't listen to them. Don't feed the trolls. Well, right here at the water's edge is this nice little park bench. I think I'm going to sit on it and just relax for a little bit, enjoy the view. It was about a 2.5 hour run up here. And I'm a little tired of sitting in the car, so I'm going to sit on this park bench. Go grab me a drink and relax for a little bit. And then I got some interesting stuff to cook for dinner. But until then, I'm just going to sit back for a little bit. So I decided to take a little stroll down this trail off camp here for dinner. A little history about this place. In the mid-1850s, an Irish immigrant named John Dunn came into this area and realized he could dam up and reroute part of the Chunky River to the grist mill, make it a prosperous business, I guess you'd say. Now that grist mill is long gone, but there is one that is in its place where the original one was at, and it's from 1857. It was moved here from somewhere in Georgia in the late 1980s. But it's pretty close to what the original one was, if I'm not mistaken. Now, that grist mill runs off a 65-foot waterfall. Of course, it's man-made, but still, it's pretty unique to see a waterfall of that size in Mississippi, even though it's a, I guess you could say, an industrial waterfall. But just a little history of the park. This is a Pat Harrison Waterways Park. They operate, probably close to 10 or 12 parks in the middle eastern part of the state of Mississippi. So, just a little history. But I'm going to get my dinner going, and I'm going to get back with y'all in just a couple minutes. All right, let me show you what I got going on tonight for dinner. I got half of a packet of a Knorr butter and herb fettuccine. And what I usually do, when we're only going to use half of it, I put it in a Ziploc bag so I can use it later on, the next day, that, so on and so forth. And then I got some pre-cooked shrimp. They're frozen, but they're from Walmart. Pretty good size. I used half the package, the same thing. What I didn't use, I put in one of those Ziploc bags. So I'm gonna have me some shrimp and fettuccine Alfredo here, it looks like. Got a little salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. Just gonna get these sauteed up in a good little bit of healthy stick of butter. Now, I didn't show these last time. We got these cool little salt and pepper condiment and spice shakers. My other half got these off of Amazon, I think. And they've worked pretty well. You pop them open and you can shake out what you want in there. They're pretty tight, airtight. I haven't had any problem with them getting hardened up inside. So, yeah. And another cool thing is I found out they're American made, so that's even better. Yeah, support America. So, let me let this get to cooking. And when it gets done, I'll show you the final result. Alright, one thing I got to say, I'm the next Iron Chef right here. I tell you one thing. Yeah, I know I'm kidding y'all. I can't cook. I'm just winging it. But if this is winging it, this is going to be pretty good. Oh yeah. That is definitely going to hit the spot. Well, that wasn't as good as the steak from last time. I tell you what, it was pretty darn tasty. I'm glad I did that. Yep, dinner's done. It's about 5 o'clock. No, excuse me, it's 6 o'clock. Sun's going to be setting here in about an hour or so. It's actually setting now. It's going to get dark here in about an hour, I guess you'd say. Gonna get little food stuff cleaned up. Excuse me, a burp there. Sorry about that. Anyways, and then might go do a little exploring around the camp here. Just see what's out here in the woods. I ain't gonna go too far. Like I said, it's about an hour before it's gonna get dark out here. But right now it's probably mid-80s. Feels really nice. The humidity's really low. And tonight is supposed to get to the low 60s, if not the high 50s. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. So that puffy blanket I got in the bed should do me okay. If not, I brought my, I actually got a sleeping bag. And I got another blanket. I'll pull their blanket out first before I do the sleeping bag. Not that cold. But, you know, as I was sitting here cooking, overlooking the river here, seems like every trip I forget something. And this time I forgot a fishing pole. Or at least some fishing line. I could make a fishing pole if I had some line. So that's that. Here at the I guess you'd say Waterpark is what it's technically considered. There is a pond that you can go fishing in, and I think it's stocked with like catfish and stuff like that. And if you catch catfish and you want to keep it, They got a little scale. You pay $2 a pound for catfish, which ain't too bad, I don't think. And you just throw your money in the box there at the scales. But if you're out here at the river, you can catch whatever you want, as long as it's within the state limits. If you want to cook it and eat it out here, you're more than welcome to. But, yep. I'm going to go back up there, clean up camp, go sit back on that little park bench that was over there. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might do a little exploring. I might just go sit down and just relax. Prop my feet up, sit down. Maybe go sit on that sandbar, sit down. I don't know. I'm going to go relax. I think I'm going to relax. I've had enough walking for the day at work, so. But, yep. I enjoy myself out here. The road getting in here was kind of, not sketchy, but probably should have brought my truck. No big deal, though. There is another campground, but it's closer to the road and closer to the area of the fishing pond, that sort of thing. And the lady at the desk said it could be a little noisy with the road traffic. It's on a little 2-lane highway over there. And I think there's street lights. And the last couple times I went camping, I had street lights. So she said it's dark back here. There's no power, there's no water. I said, really? She said, yes, sir. I said, well, good. That's what I'm looking for. No power, no water, no street lights. I said, how many people's back there? She says, none. I said, well, that's even better. So, kind of out here by myself and really enjoying it. From here to the camp office is probably, I don't know, maybe a half mile through the woods there, up down that little road there. But kind of get you a look at the woods here. One thing you're hearing is the bugs. I like it. I like it a lot. But anyways, the state's still under a burn ban. And I think I am 1 county south of where the burn ban starts. So this was another county or 2 north. I could have a campfire tonight. But that's okay. I'm going to get me a campfire this year. I'm bound and determined to go somewhere to get me a campfire. Not sure where it's going to be at, but I'm going to have me a campfire. Anyways, let me get camp cleaned up, get the chair set up, get down by the river, and relax. So it's about 6:30, almost 6:45. And these woods are coming alive with animal activity. And lots of squirrels playing over that way behind me. Squirrels playing across the river. Even got to see a beaver. We don't get beavers where I'm from. The water's kind of too brackish for them. So to see that was a treat. That was probably the first beaver I've ever seen in the wild, I guess you could say, not in the zoo or aquarium. So that was pretty cool. And I'm kind of glad I got that on camera. It wasn't real clear, but that's what it was. It was a beaver. Go back over here where that beaver was at and see if I can get a little bit better shot of him, see if he comes back out. Well, the street lights are on. Means it's about 8 o'clock. The park closes at 5, so I don't think I'm going to get any more visitors out here. Just me and the park ranger and his wife through the woods that way. I got the latest issue of the Backwoodsman's magazine. Looks like it's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to read an article or two of it. I might just call it a night. It was kind of cool seeing that beaver again. Maybe something else will visit me this evening. I don't know. Little headlamp on. Do a little reading. Something to drink. I think I'm calling it a night. See you in the morning. Rise and shine. Morning. Well, I am glad I brought my extra little blanket in here because it got a little chilly last night. I think it got down to probably 58. Ooh. And that puffy blanket was not cutting it, so I threw the other blanket over me and it kept me quite warm. And it's about 6:15 if I'm not mistaken. The sun is just starting to come up. Right over that way. But I think I'm just gonna lay for a little bit. Stretch my legs and that sort of thing, and do the morning routine. Get some coffee going. I got a little unique breakfast. Something you don't see too often. Well, it's 61 degrees. It feels fabulous out here right now. Here's a little tip for you if you're tent camping. If you got an awning, if you're going to have a drastic temperature change where you might have dew on the ground the next morning, put your chairs underneath the awning. It'll slow down the dew, or just about stop the dew from getting on your chairs. Gonna give you some coffee going and some breakfast. Got some water heated up for coffee. And here's something I haven't seen anybody do while camping. That's right, I'm cooking frozen waffles on a skillet. Now, you think, oh, it's waffles, nothing fancy about that. Well, yeah, it's not really fancy, but what I'm going to put on them might surprise you. Good old PB&J. Make me a peanut butter and jelly waffle. If you've never had a peanut butter and jelly waffle, you don't know what you're missing. If you start your day off with PB&J, it's going to be a good day. Just lightly toast them, just a little bit of crispiness on it. Lather you on some peanut butter and jelly. You can fold it up like a taco, or you can eat it just like a regular waffle. You decide. It's gonna be a good day. Birds are happy this morning. Gotta say cheers when I'm having coffee on YouTube. Something you gotta do. Now, probably at least once a week on the Facebook groups of camping and tent camping and groups like that, people always complaining, I'm always getting gnats in my tent. I'm getting mosquitoes in my tent. I'm getting bugs in my tent. How do I stop that? How do I stop that? It's pretty simple. It's just like if you're at your house. Keep your door closed. So I got me another cup of coffee, heated up. Sit back and enjoy it here for a little bit. But kind of going back to the Facebook groups and everything. I enjoy the groups, don't get me wrong. If you notice, I like to camp pretty minimalistic. A simple 2-burner stove, a couple pots and pans, and nice chest. You know, nothing fancy. I don't need anything fancy. I don't need all the amenities to have a good time out here. Kind of tickles me to see people with these tents, and they got to have power and water so they can run their Keurig coffee maker and that sort of thing. And to me, I think that's just a little bit unnecessary, and it's kind of getting away from, you know, the whole tent camping and getting back out to nature. But if that's you, and that's what you want to do, go for it. I'm just trying to say, you don't have to have a lot of stuff, a lot of amenities to have a good time. I mean, some of the best times I had has been sitting around one of these right here, old campfire. No computers, no internet, no nothing. Miles from people. You know, me and a couple buddies having a good time. But I'll get camp broke down here in a little bit. I think it's about 8 o'clock, roundabout. The park doesn't open till 9, so once it opens at 9, I can go back in and go see the hiking trail they got, see the waterfall, the grist mill, that sort of thing, and take y'all with me. So until then, I'm just gonna sit back and listen to the birds and drink coffee. So I'm back off in the woods here, across from camp. I'll hike back through here, just kind of meander through the woods. Go a little ways, and then I'm going to head back to the river and follow the river back to camp. Just to see what I can find back here. Seen lots of squirrels so far. And there's other animal signs, deer tracks, and holes in the ground where things have been digging in and stuff like that. But I'm gonna find me a spot back here. I can sit down and see what I can find, see what comes across. Pretty peaceful morning out here in the woods. I don't know if you heard that or not. That is the sound of an angry squirrel. He came down one of the trees not too far from me. I heard him scurrying, scurrying down the tree. So I looked over and he saw me move and he was mad. We're scared. I don't know. It was pretty funny though. It's amazing what you can see just sitting still leaning against a tree. Sit here and just wait. I found this old low spot. Probably gonna lead me to the river. So I'll probably go down this way a little bit and sit down for a minute or two like I did before and see what I can come across. Well, I made it back to the river. Didn't see a whole lot of activity. Lots of squirrels, birds, woodpeckers, that sort of thing. I did see something good ways away from me though, probably 200-300 yards, moving through the woods. I just seen the shadow, so it was probably a deer. Could have been a black bear. I doubt it. Now, one thing, if you come out here and go camping, there's not a burn ban. There is plenty of firewood available out here. All you gotta do is just go get it. So I'm gonna head back to camp, break down camp, clean up. I'm gonna head over and look at the waterfalls, the grist mill, and then a little nature trail they got over that way too. So well, I got camp all packed up and cleaned up. Leave no trace camping. Even picked up a little bit of trash left for some other people. Get the car all loaded up. Gonna hop in it, head up the road there to the falls. Real quick recap. This camping cost me $10 plus tax. $10. This is the cheapest primitive camping I've had in the last 20 years probably. I think it was well worth it. Well worth it. I was looking at some places over in Louisiana to go camping at some state parks and such. In one place for tent camping, they had, I want to say they had power, maybe water. If you wanted a gravel tent pad, it was $30 a night. Now, if you think that's crazy, if you wanted a grass tent pad, $50 a night plus taxes and fees. You're looking at $60-something to camp for one night. And you're probably sitting next to RVs and campers with generators and air conditioners going all night. Not my idea of fun. But this is not my top Mississippi campground, but it's top 3 so far. So anyways, enough of me rambling. I'm gonna get in the car. I'm gonna head back down that old pig trail road and go check out a look at the waterfalls and such. Now when you come in the park here, you have the office there where you can pay your entrance fee. Now if you're camping here, you get in for free or it's included with the cost. The first thing you come to is the stock fishing pond. They got catfish and things like that in there. If you want to keep your catfish, they charge you $2 a pound, which isn't too bad. You come across this walkway here, and this is the start of the waterfall. You walk out onto this overhang and overlook the falls. And the spillway that's there for the water wheel, which is not operating, but and the chunky river down there. And this is the grist mill that was moved here in the 1980s. But originally it was built in the 1850s, so we're going to go check a look at that. And there's the water wheel and the dry shaft and gearing. It goes up underneath the building there. It runs the belts. That runs the equipment inside of the grist mill. And this is pretty interesting. This is the inside of the grist mill. So all this was ran off the power for the water going through that waterfall through belts and chains and pulley systems. There's one of the grist mills right there. And you can see the big wheel right there. That is where the belts, similar to the belt that's right there, would run the equipment that's in here for grinding up grains and such. And here's another grist mill. The mill where the grains would be brought down that chute right there into that hopper, where that big stone was turned and ground up the grains. You can see here that is the main drive shaft where the belts would feed off of. And they got some other grain mills of different sorts in here, and another grist mill there. And another one there, and some sort of auger. Very interesting how this is all ran. If you go back and look at my older videos, I did a video on the Soleil Steam Festival where everything was ran off of steam, and there was actually a machine shop there that was ran off of steam. And I think it was one of the only operating steam-powered machine shops in the United States still operating, and it ran off of a similar system with the belts. Here's some other machinery and tools. Looks like a press, almost like a wine press or grape press. And then there's some stairs that go up there to the third floor, which we can't get to, which is no big deal. And here's another drive shaft that's powered from the bottom. They power other machinery up here. And there's another chute there for grain. I guess it came into here, jumped down in there to the other mills down below. Here's a good close-up look at the belt with my hand button, which you see how big it is. That belt's every bit of 8 inches to 10 inches wide. About a 1/4 inch thick maybe. Very interesting. Kind of shows you how far along we've come in the day. Here's another. It looks like this is what feeds that one from below we looked at earlier. That probably separated out the holes and such. Kind of like a pre-filter for it, I guess you'd say. And the windows here, you can overlook the water wheel and such. Pretty cool. This is actually pretty interesting. And out that way takes us down there to the falls, which we're going to go do now, I do believe. This is pretty cool because something you don't think you would see in Mississippi, especially in the backwoods of Mississippi. A little closer look at the water wheel, the drive shaft and pulleys and belts that run the whole system there. underneath the grist mill here. I think it'd be pretty cool to see this operating, but one can only hope. We're going to continue down the steps here. Go take a look at the waterfall from the riverside. And now we're here at the bottom of the 65-foot waterfall that drains off into the Chunky River, where the kids are playing in the water, getting suntan, enjoying a warm fall afternoon. So just the other side of the grist mill is this nature trail. Yes, this is a trail. It's just got a little downfall in it. It's kind of interesting. We're about halfway down the hill from there. There's a trail. And there's another drop off down there to the river. Now, this trail just loops back around to the grist mill, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the road going back to the campgrounds. Not exactly sure. We're going to find out and see what we can find along the way here. Now this trail is not very maintained, so expect to cross over some trees or limbs and sticks and such. Now we're closer to the water here. There's places you can go down and get in the river if you wanted to. A little beach here. Got some interesting mix of rocks and cypress stumps. But you can look right there and see the river. It's not probably a foot or two deep at the most, so don't expect any boat traffic. And it looks like right there off in the distance, right there is the little beach that was by my camp yesterday. So at least I know where this goes to. And what I'll probably do is just hike to that, or where I turned around yesterday, and come back this way. But pretty sandy. Definitely recommend some good shoes. And if you're first one on the trail like I am this morning, gotta watch out for spider webs like that one. But lots of shade though. Nothing spectacular, but some nice exercise. Well, I hiked back to about where I was at yesterday on the trail. And I was turning back around and heading back towards the falls. Nothing spectacular, but nice stretch legs. It's probably a half-mile loop if you do the whole thing. Like I said, nothing spectacular. There's some rocks and stuff to look at, little beaches here and there. You can go down and dip your toes in the water if you so choose to. But interesting park. Really enjoyed my time here. Been wanting to go here for a little while, and wasn't disappointed, not one bit. Like I said, for tent camping, it's $10. That includes admission to the park afterwards. If you just want to go down here to the park and do the look at the waterfall and the grist mill, or hang out at the river, I think it's $3.25, $4, something like that. It's very, very affordable. Bring the family down here and let them play in the river. Now there is another camping area. Like I said before, it's not as primitive. I think there's swing sets and barbecue grill pits and things like that. It's the same price, $10. But yeah, I bet you this place is pretty hopping in the summertime with that water. The water's pretty chilly. I dipped my feet off and my hands off into it and felt pretty good. So, but if you're ever in the area, you want to go tent camping, or you want to Go dip your toes off in some cold water. Look at some historical waterfalls and grist mills. This is the place to do it in eastern Mississippi. I guess I'm going to end the video here as I head back to the car. Like always, I appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time. Looks like I left just in time. Here comes the Boy Scouts.